And welcome everybody. Good evening, Varshini. Good evening, Bhageshri ma'am. Good to see you around. And just waiting for people to enter the session as we move on. And let me just upload this thing. So today's session is basically going to be about your personal interview specifically, and about your profile based questions and how to handle them. So I mean, I will take you through a journey through your profile based questions and what kind of questions you can expect, etc. Just give me a second, just starting off this uploading the appropriate slide. So as you know, the most important aspect of your interview prep after your CAT and everything happens to the CAT process, etc. The most important part of your interview prep is of your MBA entrance process is your interview prep. I'm not sure why I'm not able to find that file. Just give me a second. So whatever you've done in the CAT, what is going to happen is you're going to have your best call and your worst call, and somewhere between your best call and worst call, if you can start converting your best calls, it can actually make a difference of around 10 percentile, 5-10 percentiles to your outcomes in your MBA entrance process. So seems to be some issue with me finding, and I'm just waiting for other people to also join in. Just give me a second. Just uploading the relevant file here. So good evening everybody. Welcome to the session. So how do you handle your personal interview based questions? What are the key questions that come up for you, etc.? And in fact, when you talk about your interview prep basically is a matter of I'm facing a little bit of difficulty in uploading the file that I created for this. Yeah, just give me a second. Yeah, I think finally I found it. Right. So I think we can move on. So the key of today's session basically is that how do you handle your PI and how do you handle your profile-based questions? You're of course with me, Arun Sharma, and the whole theme of the session today. I hope you know my background. I'm Bangalore graduate, 1995 batch, and for the last 25 odd years, I've been training people for the CAT. I've been a member at a lot of top B schools interview panels for the past years. So I keep sometimes although last few years I don't go for interviews as a panel member, but I've been a member of a lot of interview panels of a lot of top B schools. Hence, I will be able to help you out or give you a perspective which is actually from the other end of the spectrum. right? Uh, the first thing you need to understand is that the interviewer, the interview room, and if you look at the structure of the interview, the way it happens is that when you enter the interview room, you've got your people sitting around the table and you entering. So basically, between the last person going out and you entering, there is a gap of around a minute to two before you are called in. तो इस मिनट में ये जो 1 to 2 minutes में जो होता है in the interview room, I can tell you from the perspective of what I have experienced. What the interview board does is that they first discuss this guy, right? And this guy is discussion. Sometimes it's just a nod of the eyes, because you when you're taking an interview with the same panel the whole day, you get to kind of formulate your own plans. You get to formulate what you're looking for in the candidate, whether that candidate gave you that or not. And so half this time is on the candidate going out, and half the time is on the candidate coming in. And when you are coming in, of course, इस साल हो सकता है digital interview हो तुम लोग का. Most probably it's going to be digital, so it's not going to be a room, but essentially the structure will remain the same. That before you enter the room or the digital Zoom room for your interview, they would have seen your profile and they would have seen your statement of purpose. These are the two most important aspects of the interview. In fact, both of these are so critical. The criticality of both of this is so critical because of the fact that that अगर तुम international B schools को देखो, if you look at international B schools, you go to Harvard, you go to Stanford, you go to a London School of Business, whatever, LB, London Business School. So these people are, their final offer is based on these two things. They never have an interview. आजकल चेंज करेंगे अब in the context of now having digital meeting rooms available, etc. If they change it now, we don't know, but for the last 50-70 years, they have the final offer of admission happens on the basis of only these two things. So the criticality of these two is huge in terms of your ability to get selected in the interview. And as I was saying, that whatever you've done in the CAT, whether you're getting a score of 50 or 60 or 80 or 90 or 100 or 110, whatever you're getting in the CAT, तुम CAT में जो भी कर रहे हो, तुम्हारा एक टॉप कॉल होगा और एक बॉटम कॉल होगा. So what will happen is एक 90-92 percentiler का top call, the top colleges which call him, will be the bottom call or will be just above the bottom call of a 95 percentiler. Right? And 92 percentile is 20,000 rank and 95 percentile is 10,000 rank. So you can imagine 10,000 rank का difference है. And in this 10,000 rank का difference, you might have a chance to appear for the same interview or a similar interview. And hence, why conversion becomes important is because imagine somebody X is a 95 percentiler and he does not convert anything and only converts his bottom call. And Y is a 90-92 percentile and he converts his top call. You can imagine what the outcome of the MBA entrance process is. The MBA entrance process outcome is not defined by the percentile you get or the percentile you got. It is defined by the final admission offer. You get a great percentile, but you don't get a final admission offer. It's all useless. You get a lower percentile, but your final admission offer is better than somebody who's 5 percentile above you. Great, you have managed to max the situation. So, ठीक है, you a 40 percentiler cannot compete with the 95 percentiler here because the calls quality will be very different. But definitely an 85-90 percentiler can compete with the 95 percentiler because they'll be going to similar calls and similar colleges. Unfortunately, what I've seen is that the interview process is very back-ended. That means most people, they start preparing for the interview. Their prep starts for the interview only after they get the calls. And when you get the calls, once you get the calls, उसके बाद तुम्हारे पास टाइम नहीं रहता है अपना इंटरव्यू के लिए ज़्यादा प्रिपेयर करने के लिए. यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि तुम्हारा इंटरव्यू का प्रिपरेशन 3 तरह से होता है. There are 3 ways in which you can prepare, or 3 kinds of preparation in interviews. When you're talking about a PI prep, and I hope you know that when you talk about your personality part of the GDPI process of getting into a B school, the maximum weightage is on the PI. The VAT or the GD तो बहुत जगह से हट भी गया है. The VAT does not have as much weightage as the personal interview. So the 3 ways in which you prepare for your PI is basically temporal, time dependent. One is short-term interview prep. The opposite side is long-term interview prep. और बीच में तुम्हारा आ जाता है medium term. Now, obviously, people going for interviews in Feb, March, April 21. For you, long-term interview prep is gone. I mean, what do I mean by these numbers or these logics? Long-term interview prep for me is anything more than 6 to 12 months. Typical period for long-term interview prep is 6 to 12 months or even more. And when you talk about short term, it's 15 days, 20-day prep. Or medium term का जो prep है, that is maybe around 2 to 3 months of prep. So needless to say, you don't have this opportunity any longer if you're going for a February, March, April 21 interview. But you still have this opportunity, which is going to give you a much bigger boost at interview processes and interview outcomes than if you do this. And the fundamental problem of course, my suggestion always is that long-term interview prep is number 1 on your agenda. And in that context, maybe you don't have, one thing you need to understand is maybe you don't have an opportunity to do long-term interview prep for February, March 21. That opportunity is gone. But you need to understand that the age group you guys are in, you're getting into an MBA school, you've got a plethora of interviews, you're going to have a plethora of interviews with a top call and a bottom call. You convert one of them, then you spend 2 years at your B school. And then when you try to get a job, you're again going to be interviewed. And for the first 5-7 years of your career, it's going to be, interviews are going to be very critical in your life. Once you cross 30, 32, 34, once you have a 7-8 year career track record, उसके बाद interview नहीं होता है, ज़्यादा conversation होता है about whether you want to join this company or not. But before that, till you are in your first job, second job, third job, तो तुम्हारा interview preparation होता रहे, तुम्हारा interview participation होता रहेगा. And hence, at this stage of your life, you need to make sure that, ठीक है, as I said, for long-term interview preparation for February, March, April 2021, the horse is bolted. It's gone. You can't do it now. You can only at best do medium-term interview prep. But your interview prep, even if you're doing the medium-term interview prep, it has to take into account that you will be going for a lot of interviews in 2022 when you go for summer placements. You'll be doing a lot of interviews in 2023 when you'll be passing out of your B school. You'll be doing interviews all the way up to 2030 as you do your first 5-7 years of your career. So while you should initiate your your 2-month interview process, immediately, you also should make sure that this 2-month interview process is actually taking you all the way to your 1 year, 2 year, and 3, 5, 7 year interview preparations. Because once you can create strength in the way you can handle interview, it will become a lifelong strength. Unfortunately, हम लोग को स्कूल कॉलेज में बहुत कुछ सिखाया जाता है. Mathematics सिखाया जाता है, they teach us physics, they teach us history, geography, but the one thing they don't teach us, the one thing which is the most critical thing that they don't teach us is how to talk and how to present yourself. So please remember that when you go into an interview, your attitude has to be that you are the product. You are the product. That has to be your attitude. And you are trying to sell yourself. In return, I mean, at least for a B school interview, the return is you're trying to sell yourself for that cost of one seat at that college. So if you go into an IIM Ahmedabad interview, you're trying to tell them that you as a product is worthy of that one seat, or actually worthy of much more. So of course, so when an interviewer now coming back to, so that has to be your attitude. Now coming back to your to the interviewer's point of view or viewpoint. So when you enter the interview room, the interviewer, before you enter, he's already closely read both your profile and your statement of purpose. And inside the profile, the interviewer starts looking for specific things. He starts looking for specific things. Right? So what are the things he starts looking for? I just wanted to talk about that. First of all, what the interviewer does is he tries to assess your past profile, and what I mean, based on these assessments arise the questions he's going to ask you. So as an interviewer, whether they discuss this or not before you enter the interview room or you enter the interview meeting room digitally, each interviewer in his mind frames the questions he's going to ask you. और ये क्वेश्चंस बेसिकली तुम्हारे पास्ट और प्रोफाइल से निकलते हैं. फोर मेजर सोर्सेज होते हैं. दूसरे तुम्हारे क्वेश्चंस अबाउट योर प्रेजेंट आएंगे. Third, there'll be questions about your character and personality traits. Now, this is a very important part of an interview, because as a interviewer trying to choose whether I want to give you that seat or not, I need to know how you will perform in my course. So there are two things as an interviewer. There are 2-3 responsibilities I have when I look at you coming into my B school, and of course the question is also about your future plans. So there are 3-4 responsibilities I have when you are coming to me, and the key responsibility that I have, of course, is I have to be fair to you. I have to also be fair to the others. I don't want to bring in my biases कि ये इंजीनियर है तो अच्छा होगा, ये इंजीनियर नहीं है, या फिर कोई भी बायस. मेरे को एज एन इंटरव्यूअर आई हैव टू बी वेरी न्यूट्रल, एंड आई हैव टू कीप माय बायसेस outside the interview room. That every interviewer is very conscious about. But while he's conscious about that, he's also conscious about a few other things. The most important thing that he's conscious about is he's trying to look at, I mean, one of the things that the interviewer is trying to see is that if he gives you that seat at his college, वो तुमको सीट अगर दे देता है अपने कॉलेज में, तो तुम उस सीट का यूटिलाइजेशन कैसे करोगे? Now, utilization of the seat is in 3 dimensions at a B school. One dimension of the utilization of the seat is what you bring to the batch. Because as a prof, as a teacher at a B school, I want to have a classroom which is very, very vibrant. So when I'm looking at you, I want to look at whether what you bring what you bring to my batch, do I value that? Do I value that in terms of will I be uplifting the people in the group? Because as you know, 200 लोग को ग्रुप अगर एक साथ बैठा दो सबको साथ में, और उसमें 50 लोग मस्ती वाले हैं तो और बाकी नॉर्मल हैं, तो what will happen after 3 months is the whole batch will become मस्ती वाला. और वहां पे अगर उसके बदले अगर if there are 5, 7, 10 very shining examples that I've been able to find out from my interview processes, and I've put them into the same group, then the batch will completely change. Because what will happen is there will be some people, no matter how well you select, there will be some people who will be laggards and not very serious about their work. So if I'm not able to balance that group with a very exemplary set of people. एक तो पहला मेरा ऑब्जेक्टिव रहता है कि इसको मेरे को लेना नहीं है, लेकिन आई नो दैट कितना भी मैं ट्राई करूं, सम ऑफ दीज पीपल विल एंटर, बिकॉज वो ब्लफ कर देंगे इंटरव्यू में, मैं नहीं पता कर पाऊंगा कि वो उस तरह का बच्चा है, एक्सेट्रा. एंड ऑफ कोर्स 10th-12th में अच्छा स्कोर किया, ग्रेजुएशन में अच्छा स्कोर किया, स्टिल बी somebody who's not really working very hard in his life. So my focus is that एक बीच का ग्रुप तो होगा बैच में, which will be the normal people. Now if I can embellish this group, I mean, I'm very, very conscious as a B school prof. I'll be very, very conscious ki who are the 200, 300, 500 people I want to teach in the next 2 years, because my life and my academic role as a teacher will be dependent on this group. So if I can bring in a few exemplary people into that batch, what happens is that these people get inspired, versus if I bring a lot of these people and a lot of these people enter the group, the beach ka people will also get pulled down. वो ये लोग कुछ पढ़ाई करने का सोचेंगे तो ये बोलेंगे चलो यार मस्ती करते हैं, पार्टी करते हैं. So that is a very important concern, and you need to, when you're preparing for an interview, you need to understand what the interviewer is thinking, because तुम अपने आप को जब प्रेजेंट करने जाओगे, तुमको अगर यही नहीं पता है कि इंटरव्यू क्या सोच रहा है, तो तुम एक नॉर्मल रैंडम प्रेजेंटेशन करके आ जाओगे, which will not give you the outcomes that you can actually create if you are focused and cutting edge with respect to your this thing. So one of the things with that seat I want to know is, what do you bring in? Are you this exemplary guy? I mean, or ideally in a batch of 200, I'll want 200 exemplary people. So even in these people, I need to see whether that exemplariness is there or not. Have they been leaders in their groups? Have they been people who are self-driven, internally driven, या बाहर से डंडा मारेंगे तभी काम करेंगे, right? So these are things that I'm going to look at very closely. The other thing apart from what you bring and this what you bring is not just attitude. ये तो attitude की बात थी, but also what kind of experiences you bring. So if I find somebody who's worked in the automobile industry for 3 years, in my classroom discussions as a teacher, when I'm discussing marketing, the automobile marketing agenda comes up automatically, and your experience adds to what the class brings or what the class has, rather than talking to a group of 50, 100 freshers who don't have any idea. It always is better to talk to a slightly mature audience. So these are reasons why WorkX people are taken a little bit more in B schools. The second thing I'm looking at is how you're going to perform academically. This is my second responsibility as an interviewer. I am the interviewer. I'm the other side. I'm the interviewer. I'm on the other side of the board. So how are you going to perform academically? Plus, how are you going to learn at the college? Do you have that learning instinct, that learning strategy, or that learning process inside yourself? This is the second thing I'm going to look at when I look at you. And the third thing I'm going to look at, and this is my third responsibility of you, of bringing you into the batch, is what kind of brand ambassador are you going to become going forward? Because a normal person, let's say I'm the interviewer at SP Jain, right? Now, a normal person, let's say your neighbor, the uncle who lives in your neighborhood, how many SP Jain graduates does he know in life? A normal person, normal professional working person, how many SP Jain graduates will he come across in his life? Maybe 1, 2, 5, unless he's specifically from the management field. Maybe 1, 2, 5 normal person. So what will happen is, ये 5 लोग को देख के पूरी दुनिया, मतलब everybody will not have exposure to more than 2 to 5 SP Jain graduates. Looking at these 5 graduates, you will make a judgment about SP Jain कैसा है, what kind of institute it is. So I am very, very bothered about the fact that once I give you that seat as an interviewer, I'm going to be very bothered about the fact that once I give you that seat, I say, okay, you're given that, and at an interview stage, I've got the veto, I've got the power. If I decide, and there are three kinds of decisions that happen. I told you that when one person goes out and the second person comes in, there are three kinds of decisions that happen about the interviewee. तो जो पहला आधा मिनट होता है once one person walks out, उसमें interviewers take a decision कि take him, we want him. Interviewers take the opposite decision कि don't take him at any cost. And the third is take him, we want him at any cost. Don't take him at any cost. The third is give him general marks. Let's see if he qualifies the other things. Then he will come in, otherwise we'll just leave it to luck. We're not very sure about this guy. So obviously, this is the outcome you are trying to generate. So when you enter that panel, 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, when you exit the panel, this is the outcome you want to generate out of an interview. And this is the outcome you want to avoid, of course. This is the outcome which you want to avoid at any cost. Right? So, I mean, coming back to the interviewer's perspective, he is trying to look at his third and biggest responsibility is, if I give this guy a seat, this guy's name is going to be associated with my B school's name for the rest of his 30 years. So do I predict this guy is going to be a success? Does he have it in him? Because देखो, तीन तरह के ग्रेजुएट्स निकलते हैं हर बी स्कूल से. हर बी स्कूल से तीन तरह के ग्रेजुएट्स निकलते हैं. एक ग्रेजुएट्स होते हैं जो बी स्कूल के कारण अपना लाइफ बना लेते हैं बिकॉज ऑफ द बी स्कूल. दूसरे ग्रेजुएट्स होते हैं, एंड दिस इज आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट अ 20-30 ईयर करियर नाउ, विच इज व्हाट योर करियर इज गोइंग टू बी. दूसरे ग्रेजुएट्स होते हैं जिनके कारण बी स्कूल का नाम बनता है. दे बिकम द ब्रांड्स फॉर द बी स्कूल. सो early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, a lot of people in North India, East India knew Tata, knew XLRI through Mr. Muthuraman, who was the CEO of and the head of Tata Steel. So उनके through बहुत लोग को XLRI के बारे में पता चला. They realized what XLRI is through that person. So only 3 to 5% people become this. 90%, 70-80% people, 70% maybe people become this, and 25% people, even from the best B schools, become laggards. And this is the truth. You will find in every IIM batch, you go to an IIM A batch of 1980, you'll find 20-25% people who didn't do anything they did not take off from their career or this thing. और इनको जब कोई मिलता है कि IIM अहमदाबाद का ग्रेजुएट है, तो you start asking कि अरे IIM अहमदाबाद से ऐसा लाइफ आ गया क्या? Is this the life that it gave you? Whereas these people become the shining examples of the B school. So, as an interviewer, I have these three responsibilities to judge. Will you bring in the correct attitude to the B school, or are you going to spoil? Because ultimately, what will happen is when you enter the B school, तुम्हारे 3 friend बनेंगे close. और तुम अगर उनको pull down कर रहे हो, because you are not serious and your attitude is wrong with respect to what you, because when people enter the B school, this is the problem every year that profs face and B school directors face. Half the people who come in are so relaxed and cool कि अब हो गया मेरा काम, IIM पहुंच गया, एसपीजन पहुंच गया, अब तो मेरे को जिंदगी बन गई, मेरे को जॉब तो मिलना ही है, कुछ भी हो जाए. उनका रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. सो ऐसा एक स्टूडेंट आ जाता है, उसके 3 क्लोज फ्रेंड्स बनते हैं, उनको भी वो अपने साथ नीचे खींच लेता है 2 साल के लिए, तो उनका भी परफॉर्मेंस डिप करा देता है. और वहीं पे वो जो एग्जाम्पलरी स्टूडेंट है वो आ रहा है अंदर, तो ये मेरे को जज करना बहुत जरूरी है. नाउ इफ आई एम इन योर प्लेस, इफ यू आर इन माई प्लेस, और मैं तुमको बोलूं कि ये स्टूडेंट आ रहा है तुम्हारे सामने, मिस्टर एक्स इज कमिंग इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू, तुम ये 3 चीज जज करो कि ये व्हाट डज ही ब्रिंग, व्हाट एटीट्यूड इज ही गोइंग टू ब्रिंग to the table. What attitude is going to bring, what experience is going to bring to the table, right? What character traits, what personality traits is he going to bring in the table? Is he going to be somebody who will be inspirational for the batch or not? Or is he going to be somebody who will be a drag on the batch? So I want to judge this. I want to judge point number 2. How will this guy do academically and learning wise? And the third thing I want to judge is long term. Will this guy become a brand ambassador for me? If I can tick these 3 boxes, I will definitely, my interview answer would be take him. I'm not going to look at profile. I'm not going to look at कि 10th में इसको 62 क्यों आया था. My answer is going to be take him. My decision is going to be take him. Right? So now how does this information change how you work for an interview or how you prepare for an interview? ये इन्फॉर्मेशन तुम्हारे इंटरव्यू को कैसे चेंज करता है? तो अगर मैं इस स्लाइड पे वापस जाऊं कि तुमको तुम्हारा प्रोफाइल मिला है, मेरे को तुम्हारा प्रोफाइल मिलता है और तुम्हारा स्टेटमेंट ऑफ पर्पस मिलता है. एवरी बी स्कूल हैज डिफरेंट क्वेश्चंस दे आस्क यू for writing essay type answers in 200 words, 300 words, etc. So as an interviewer, for me, this is much more important than this. Reason being, ठीक है, मैं इसको पढ़ूंगा कि तुम क्यों करना चाहते हो, क्या करना चाहते हो, तुम्हारा डिसीजन, करंट डिसीजन सही से हो रहा है कि नहीं, आर यू थिंकिंग द करेक्ट वे, एक्सेट्रा. I'll read that, but I'll give you much more weightage for your profile than for this. Reason is, this is what you've done. And this is what you are saying you will do. Now, any interview is going to be inclined more towards what you have done. It's a natural inclination. He's going to be inclined more towards what you have done than what you are saying you'll do. Right? I'll give you an analogy here. Let's say you are the Delhi Ranji Trophy cricket captain or cricket coach. You are the Delhi Ranji Trophy cricket coach. And 2 batsmen come to you, X and Y, कि please select us. Or you have to consider between 2 batsmen, किसको select करने वाला है. ये बोलता है कि मैं हर मैच में 100 बनाऊंगा. I will make 100 in every match. तो आप लेके तो देखिए मेरे को. I'll make 100 in every match. You take me into the team and you see how I'll perform. So he's talking about the future. This guy comes with a record. He says, my name is Virat Kohli. I am not promising you anything for the future, but this is my name and this is what I have done. So whom will you give weightage to? X or Y? Obviously X. इसको कितना मानोगे तुम? ये नहीं बोल रहा, he's not giving you any assurance that he'll give you 100 every match. ये बोल रहा है. Right? So one thing is very clear. तुम क्या करने वाले हो वो इतना इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है मेरे लिए जितना तुमने क्या किया. Because for 99% cases, I can just extrapolate your past into your future because most people don't change. तुम पास्ट 15 साल से कैसे ऑपरेट किए हो, तो नेक्स्ट 15 years कैसे ऑपरेट करोगे, वो मैं extrapolate. I can do a Xerox copy and put it there. It's one of the safest ways to guess what a person will be do. Now इसका opposite है कि जब अगर ये बंदा सोया हुआ था पहले और अब जाग गया है. ये बंदा सोया हुआ था, he was a dormant person in the past, but अब वो जाग गया है. तब ये चेंज हो जाता है, because then you can do anything, and then I would rather bet on you rather than not bet on you. But ये जागने का मेरे को कुछ तो एविडेंस दिखना चाहिए ना लास्ट 6 months में. You're coming to me in the interview today and you tell me that you have changed. Your past profile is all kachada. Possible. You never worked on it. You never thought about it. It's all kachada. And then you're coming to the interview and telling me, आज मैं जाग गया हूँ, अब मैं आगे काम करूँगा. I'm not going to believe you. Because I'm going to ask you to show me at least 3 months, at least 6 months of change. And this is where your medium-term interview prep can make a big difference over your short-term interview prep. Because short-term interview prep में क्या करोगे तुम? Short-term interview prep में क्या होता है कि ये question आने वाला है. You can come to me with a biodata, your profiles. I'll tell you the questions you'll get. And as a trainer also, I'm restricted because I cannot tell you to change that question because that questions can't be changed. But in a 3-month framework, if you start your interview prep immediately, in a 3-month framework, you can make a lot of difference to who you are in a lot of ways. Right? ठीक है, तुम्हारा ट्रिगर है कि तुम इंटरव्यू में जाने वाले हो इसलिए तुम इसको कर रहे हो, पर वो बताने की जरूरत नहीं है. और तुम 3 महीने का जो काम है अगर तुम विगरसली करते हो, अगर 3 महीने का विगरसली काम करते हो, तो you can actually spread it in 12 months. You can in your interview you can actually talk about this कि 12 महीने पहले से मैं जाग गया हूँ. I'll give you a small example. Suppose you say कि okay, now it's 15 December, 15 December. So next 3 months I have to change my profile because my profile is weak. मैं profile analysis किया, मेरा 10th और 12th का percentage उतना strong नहीं है, मेरा graduation उतना strong नहीं है, percentage भी strong नहीं है, knowledge भी strong नहीं है. तो अब क्या करूं? 3 महीने बाद मेरे को इंटरव्यू देना है, कैसे impress करूंगा? So I might tell you that okay, one of the ways is going to be to add knowledge and add courses on subjects. So you decide that I'll do this. I'll add knowledge and I'll add courses to myself. So most of these online courses, suppose you pick up, let's say 10-hour courses, 10-15. You say कि short time है तो मैं एक कोर्स 6 महीने का तो नहीं उठाऊंगा. मैं ऐसे कोर्सेज उठाऊंगा ऑफलाइन ऑनलाइन से जो 15 घंटे का मेरे को अपर लिमिट देते हैं रिक्वायरमेंट का. और मैं क्या करूंगा, मेरे पास 12 हफ्ते हैं, 10 से 12 हफ्ते हैं बिफोर माई इंटरव्यूज. What I'll do is I'll do 1 to 2 courses per week. 1 to 2 courses per week. I'll pick up some agenda. I'll pick up okay कि मेरे को फाइनेंस पढ़ना है, मार्केटिंग पढ़ना है, कोई मैं एजेंडा उठा लूंगा कि okay which will also connect me to or for that matter I want to study philosophy, I want to study history, कुछ भी एक मेजर सब्जेक्ट उठा लूंगा मैं. I might pick up one major subject, I'll pick up one minor subject, and I'll say कि okay 1 to 2 subject courses per week. 10 weeks में I can do 15 to 20 courses. चलो 20 नहीं मानते, 15 courses मानते हैं. तो तुम अगर 15 कोर्स कंप्लीट करते हो 10 से 12 वीक में, that is sufficient to show an awakening of yourself for a period of 12 months. You don't need to tell them कि तुमने दिसंबर से फरवरी में किया है सब. You can tell them कि लास्ट जनवरी से मैं कर रहा हूँ इसको. Right? So these are things that come into a medium-term interview preparation process. And then of course, in a medium term, you can also improve your awareness. That should be a major drive for the medium-term prep. अब 15 दिन बाद तुम इंटरव्यू के लिए जा रहे हो तो I cannot ask you कि इकोनॉमिक्स पढ़ के देख लो क्या हो, or at least the basic knowledge of economics and what has been happening in Indian economy and world economies for the last 6 months, 1 year. I cannot ask you to do that if your interview is 10 days away. ठीक है. But if your interview is 2 months away, I can tell you, okay, pick up these 20 issues and read about them. ठीक है. So the courses will per se will not help out. What will help out is the knowledge there, because as an interviewer, I'm not going to look at तुमने courses कौन से किए हैं. I'm going to ask you questions about the interview. In that interview. So suppose तुमने game theory का course किया है, and you will get lucky also. You do a great theory on game course on game theory, and पता चला कि तुम्हारा जो interviewer है वो game theory पढ़ाता है अहमदाबाद में. तो it's a subject at IIM Ahmedabad and he teaches it. तो तुम्हारा इंटरव्यू पूरा उस पर चला जाएगा, और तुम्हारा इंटरव्यू उस पर चला जाएगा. तुम्हारे पास अगर नॉलेज है तो वो तुम्हारे सब क्वेश्चंस तुम्हारे रेंज में आ जाएंगे, और तुम इंटरव्यू में छक्का लगा लोगे. राइट. इट्स हैपेंड टू सो मेनी स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ माइन like this. So it's a design strategy for this thing. So as I said, focus on the knowledge. It's not on the completion. And that also answers the question कि ये courses का सर्टिफिकेट चाहिए कि नहीं चाहिए सर्टिफिकेट. बिकॉज देखो तुम्हारे बायोडेटा पे तुम्हारा जो प्रोफाइल होता है ना, दिस क्लास इज अबाउट प्रोफाइल. सो व्हेन योर प्रोफाइल इज लुक्ड एट, देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड द हार्डवेयर ऑफ योर प्रोफाइल. ना हार्डवेयर को चेंज नहीं किया जा सकता है. हार्डवेयर क्या होता है प्रोफाइल में? तुमने 10th किस स्कूल से किया, कौन से ईयर में किया, परसेंटेज क्या था, कांट बी चेंज्ड. 12th school year percentage can't be changed. Graduation subject, college percentages, 3-month context mate can't be changed. 2 months later, if you're going for an interview, 1 year later, if you can go in for an interview, then graduation percentage can be changed if you're going for an interview at this stage. But 3 months later, this is part of your hardware. So what your process or your logic has to be that I'll have to live with this hardware. I can't change this hardware. And what I'll do is I'll try to focus on making my software stronger or more diverse. So the software of your biodata is I mean, because softwares can be changed, is what subjects, what interests, what additional work, what open courses, what challenges, what character traits, personality traits do you have. These are all softwares. What is the attitude? It's part of the software of your profile. So these are things, while you can't change the hardware in a 2-month context, you can't change your hardware. Your software is very changeable. So यहाँ पे सॉफ्टवेयर में तुम अगर 20 कोर्स ऐड कर देते हो, 15 कोर्स ऐड कर देते हो ऑन विच से लेट्स से यू डिफाइन की ओके मेरा 8 कोर्सेज मैं फाइनेंस पे कर रहा हूँ. सपोज तुम बीकॉम स्टूडेंट हो, तुम डिसाइड, या तुम इंजीनियर हो और तुम बी स्कूल के इंटरव्यू में जाना चाह रहे हो, तुम बोलते हो 8 कोर्सेज फाइनेंस पे कर लेता हूँ, 4 कोर्सेज हिस्ट्री पढ़ लेता हूँ, और 4 कोर्सेज फिलोसफी पढ़ लेता हूँ. You do this. ठीक है. तो this 2.5 months of vigorous energy and vigorous intensity in taking in this information can actually be spread out in the interview by saying that I was doing it for the last 1 year. So if you have a profile which is very average for the first 17, 18 or 19 years of your life, or 20, whatever your age is, your past is very average. ये 2 महीने में तुम विग्रस काम करो और उसको स्प्रेड आउट कर दो 1 साल पे. एंड यू से कि 2020 में मेरे को बुद्धि आ गई, 2020 जनवरी फरवरी के बाद मेरे को बुद्धि आ गई, 1 साल से मैं इस पे लग गया हूँ और मैं खुद के डेवलपमेंट प्रोसेस में लग गया. और ये तुम 2 महीने अगर करोगे तो तुम ये बोलोगे तो दे विल नॉट बी एबल टू फाइंड आउट कि तुमने नहीं किया इसको, बिकॉज दे कांट फाइंड आउट कि तुमने कौन सा कोर्स कब से किया. एनीवे यू आर नॉट टेकिंग सर्टिफिकेट्स फॉर देम. So we are just looking at knowledge addition. So it's an attitude you have to have, because when you talk about your questions on your past profile, और अगले क्लास में मेरा नेक्स्ट मंडे का जो क्लास है इसी कोर्स का, उसमें I'll be talking about these 3 things. इस पे क्या क्या क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. तो पास्ट प्रोफाइल पे जो क्वेश्चंस पे आते हो, as I always tell my students, your past can clinch your interview. Your past can clinch your interview. जैसे वो रणजी ट्रॉफी का मैंने एग्जांपल दिया, विराट कोहली वर्सेस a guy. X is Virat Kohli and Y is a guy who's telling me that I'll make 100 in every match. आप लेके तो देखिए. इस केस में my selection process, if I have to take one batsman, my selection process is predefined. I'm going to take this guy. I'm not going to bother about ये क्या बोल रहा है मेरे को. So please remember this. Your past is so powerful that it can clinch your interview, it can clinch your seat. So what you need to do when you're preparing is you need to list down stuff from your past. And the past is comprised of these substructures. These 6 substructures. What have been your significant events during your past 20 years? What have been your significant events during your past 20 years? Okay, now before I go there, let me also okay, I'll just come to what is a strong profile, Jayant. Let me just get the information across to all of you. The mandatory promotion that I have to do. The National Scholarship Test for CAT happening every Sunday 5 to 10 p.m. 5 to 7 p.m. And the next one is this Sunday. Every Sunday it happens. And the best part of it is that you get in-depth analysis of the test on the same day, and you also, the top 20 scorers also get Amazon vouchers worth 5,000 rupees. So you actually can earn from here. And the other thing is that since I'm on to promotions, my promo code for Unacademy is Arun Sharma. Let me just get that out of the way. My promo code for Unacademy is Arun Sharma. You can use my promo code to watch these live special classes also, and you can also use this promo code to join Plus if you want. It'll give you a 10% discount on the Plus. Or I teach DI and LR mostly, and I do some courses on calculations etc. on Unacademy. तो मेरा LR और DI का courses, fresh courses January में start हो रहे हैं. Of course, for CAT 20 people, I'm going to. I've just started CAT 21 people के लिए calculation course मेरा अभी start हुआ है last Sunday से. So and my courses on DI and LR are 3 levels: basic, advanced is the other end of it, and the normal. Right, the basic, comprehensive, and the advanced. So this is what you can look forward to this thing. And plus pay, of course, there are a lot of other teachers who will teach you the cons and the verbal part, etc. So this is my role. So if you want to come in and decide to join Plus, you can use my promo code to join there. So let's come back to the question that I was talking about. When you look at your past profile, you have to feed out these things. You have to sit down and you have to try to see what are the significant events in your life. Right? It could be something that you did. It could be something that happened in your family. Right? So, for example, let's say you were 7 years old or 10 years old, and your father faced a very strong economic crisis or very very bad economic crisis at that time, and for 3 years your family was very very tight financially. It's a significant event that has shaped who you are. You have to bring it out, and ठीक है ना? No, they did not need to be academic, as I said. Your father was in a transferable job, hence you did 7 schools in your life. Very significant event. It shapes who you are. Right? When you talk about significant achievements and failures, this can be academic. It can be in any other field. It can be in the field of drama. It can be in the field of sport. Anything you try to do and could achieve or could not achieve. ठीक है? Naveen is asking me 96 in 10th, 89 in 12th, and 78 in grad. Now, इस पे बिफोर आई कमेंट, इस पे एक चीज होता है कि ग्रेड में बहुत सारे कॉलेजेस में परसेंटेजेस कम देते हैं. तो अगर ऐसा केस है, यू हैव टू लुक एट, वर यू इन द what top 2 percentile of the percent of the group, or were in the top 5% of the group. So if you are in the top 5% here of the group, and here also in the top 5% of your class, then it will not be considered to be a drop, right? 10 to 12 definitely drop दिख रहा है यहाँ पे, right? So देखो एक चीज और है इसमें. One thing you need to remember, I see, even when I have sat in an interviews as an interviewer, I have always seen that a lot of people come and try to bluff. So I tell students that take the Sahara of truth. There's a lot of power in the truth. तुम इंटरव्यू में जाओ, बोलो कि मैं सच बोलता हूँ सर. तुमसे पूछेंगे व्हाट आर योर कैरेक्टर ट्रेट्स, व्हाट आर योर पर्सनालिटी ट्रेट्स, तुम बोलो कि आई ऑलवेज स्पीक द ट्रूथ सर. whether I think it's a strength or a weakness, and you need to understand one thing more, कि वो जो इंटरव्यूअर्स है ना, वो कोई मार से नहीं आए. आमिर खान का जो पीके मूवी था कि वो कहीं किसी दूसरे प्लैनेट से आया और तुमसे इंटरव्यू अगर ले रहा है, तब उसको नहीं पता कि तुम्हारी लाइफ में क्या हुआ होगा, राइट? अब जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल 12th, जैसे अभिराज इज आस्किंग अबाउट कि 12th के बाद गैप ईयर, राइट? और 12th के बाद गैप ईयर क्यों होता है इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में? इंजीनियरिंग प्रेप, मेडिकल प्रेप, या आजकल तीसरा केस हो गया कि लॉ के लिए प्रेप कर रहे थे. बट इट इज बेसिकली फॉर प्रेपिंग फॉर एन एंट्रेंस एग्जाम, राइट? नाउ विदाउट मी आस्किंग यू दिस क्वेश्चन, आई कैन गेस दिस कि यही होगा. अब तुम चाह रहे हो कि मेरे को बताओ कि तुम कोई और हो, तो द ओनस ऑफ प्रेप, द ओनस ऑफ प्रूफ विल बी ऑन यू. सपोज यू टेल मी कि मेरा मेडिकल प्रॉब्लम्स के कारण गैप हुआ, होता है, सम पीपल हैव इट, but the onus of proof will be on you, and if you can't prove it, I'm not going to accept you. It's a subjective situation. So gap year is not a failure, it is a decision you took. Don't think about the gap year as a failure. It's a decision you took. It's a decision you took, and that decision you have to live with. You're ready to live with it. Accept it. Right? Accept a mistake, but be truthful. Because अगर मैं तुमसे पूछता हूँ कि तुम्हारा गैप ईयर क्यों है, और तुम मेरे को बोलते हो कि सर मैं तो मेरे घर में इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस हो गया था, इसके कारण मैं पढ़ नहीं पाया, तो ऑल दैट इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में क्रैप है. Because I'll ask you कि अच्छा तुम कोई ग्रेजुएशन करस्पॉन्डेंस कोर्स से क्यों नहीं कर लिए? उसके लिए भी पैसे नहीं थे क्या? राइट? उसके बदले मेरे को कोई बोलता है, आई एम आस्किंग यू दिस क्वेश्चन कि गैप ईयर क्यों है तुम्हारा, एंड somebody comes to me, Abhiraj comes in front of me and says कि sir, actually I was preparing for engineering. मेरा ड्रीम था कि मैं IIT में जाऊं, लेकिन मेरा 12th के साथ नहीं हुआ, और मैंने डिसाइड किया कि एक साल बाद में जाऊंगा अपने दिस थिंग में, because I'll give it my best shot. मैं जब 7th स्टैंडर्ड में था, 8th स्टैंडर्ड में था, तब से I had this goal and this dream that I'll go into IIT. Whether you went or not does not matter. अगर एक साल बाद फिर से फेलियर होगा, कोई इश्यू नहीं, तुम शायद BCom कर लिए उसके बाद, doesn't matter. But you say कि okay, that was my dream and that's why I prepared for it and I wanted to give myself one more shot. ये लाखों लोग हर साल कर रहे हैं, तो क्या उनको क्या लटका देंगे हम? As an interviewer, should I put them on the chopping block and cut off their necks? It was a decision you took. You're facing up to it. You are going to live that outcome. So accept it. And the moment you tell me that, sir, I was preparing for engineering, I didn't get through, I don't have any more questions to ask you. मैं कुछ नहीं पूछ सकता हूँ तुमसे as an interviewer, because तुम truth बोल दियो, you just owned up to it. अब मैं क्या पूछूंगा? I will ask you, why did you take that decision? You are telling me that it was a dream. I wanted to give myself one shot. I did not want to live in that regret. कि अगर मैं ट्राई किया होता एक साल और तो कुछ और हो जाता, वो रिग्रेट मेरे को नहीं चाहिए था, राइट? सो about your profile, don't try to bluff, because the interviewer is from this world, right? So don't try to bluff at all. Bluff is something that you will not do at all. And try to look at this thing. For example, if Pooja is talking about 84, 60, 80, this is clearly a failure, academically failure, academically failure. But she's into sports, so maybe this was also because of some sport she was playing at that time, and she was focused more on that sport at that time. And then when she got back to graduation, she got back to academics because she realized that sport mein utna life nahi hai. Right? Am I correct in guessing that, Pooja? In your timeline? I don't know you, but am I correct in guessing that? That your 12th went bad because you were too involved in the sport you were playing? Right? Most likely that is going to be the case. It's a guess from my side. So if she gives me this answer, I'll take it. I'll look for कि क्या किया sport में, उससे क्या सीखा. Because मेरा objective as an interviewer, I'm not a bad person. I want every person who comes in front of me, मेरे बस में रहता तो मैं हर student को ले लेता. I don't want to reject people. That's not my objective. But the problem is that I have to reject people because I only can select a few people. And I have those three onuses on me. Will this guy bring the right attitude to the college? जो कि मेरे को प्रोफाइल से दिखेगा. जैसे फेलियर्स के थ्रू अगर पास्ट में तुम्हारे पास आउटकम्स हैं जहां पे तुम फेल किए और वहां से राइज अवे कर गए, you rose back, it gives me a very strong indication that you're a guy who's going to be a success in life. You do not allow a failure to put you down in life. It gives me a very strong indication of that. So I will definitely put you on a tick if I hear a story like that. राइट? पास्ट डिसीजन मेकिंग एंड प्रोसेस पे किस तरह के क्वेश्चंस आते हैं? वही वाले कि तुमने ब्रेक क्यों लिया, तुमने ये सब्जेक्ट क्यों लिया, तुमने इंजीनियरिंग क्यों नहीं ली, तुम बीकॉम कैसे डिसाइड कर लिया, तुम बीए इकोनॉमिक्स कैसे डिसाइड किए, हाउ डिड यू डिसाइड योर सब्जेक्ट, राइट? हाउ डिड यू स्टडी इन द पास्ट, हाउ डिड यू चेंज, व्हाई डिड यू ड्रॉप डाउन, व्हाई डिड योर परसेंटेजेस ड्रॉप? All these questions are past decision making and the process which led to that. ठीक है? Yeah, that's okay. I mean, it's perfectly okay, Shivam. As I said, you gave a year extra. And then in the exam, you still failed. And then you went to an average college. Or you just left engineering and went into something else. This is 99% of the story. 99% of people have this story. Only 1% people after a year's gap are able to get to where they wanted to be. The average story is this. So what matters, what I'm going to look at, if I'm going to look at you and going to give you a fair chance, if I'm going to give you this thing and give you a fair chance, is going to be about कि तुम्हारा एवरेज कॉलेज में एवरेज अपॉर्चुनिटी तुमको मिला, उससे क्या किए तुम, वहां जाके टॉपर बने कि नहीं, वहां जाके अच्छा परफॉर्म किए कि नहीं, राइट? So that's going to be critical. So these questions, one and the other aspect in your profile. Today's session was only on profile-based interviews. This thing. So again, अगर नहीं किया 3 साल से, अब तो करना स्टार्ट कर दो. At least as I showed you, suppose तुम 3 साल से एवरेज रहे हो, लास्ट 3 years कुछ नहीं किया हो, तो मीडियम टर्म इंटरव्यू प्रेप में एटलीस्ट ये तो दिखा दो, 2 महीना विग्रस काम करके दिखा दो कि 12 महीने से मैं कर रहा हूँ. आई एम डूइंग इट फॉर द लास्ट 12 months. आई वोकन अपने सब्जेक्ट को नहीं पढ़ा है, लेकिन मैंने ये सब चीज पढ़ा है. इट विल हेल्प यू. नेचुरली पास्ट में तुम्हारे ग्रेजुएशन सब्जेक्ट्स ऑफ परफॉर्मेंस. एंड ऑफ कोर्स वन मोर थिंग व्हिच आई मिस्ड आउट, if you have WorkX, they're going to ask you about that. So 7 dimensions of questions on your profile. So what you should do is critically evaluate your profile, and what is coming out straight from this, you look at how you're going to answer it. Then you also want to bring out some things which are not coming out from your biodata. So तब उसका सॉफ्टवेयर में डालोगे तुम एटीट्यूड को सॉफ्टवेयर में डालोगे. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल ये नहीं आ रहा है कि तुम रिकवर करते हो फाइट बैक से, तुम डाउन होते हो तो उसके बाद लेट्स से तुम्हारे पास एक मेडिकल इश्यू हो गया तुम्हारा व्हेन यू वर इन क्लास फर्स्ट ईयर कॉलेज, एंड देन बिकॉज ऑफ दैट डिप you had a bad performance in that year and then you came back. Let's say it's not coming on the profile, so you want to bring it out in your story when they ask you why MBA, why, when they ask you stuff like that, or why should we select you, you want to bring the story out. ठीक है ना? So these are things that you look at. So these are 7 things you look at in the profile. Why MBA etc. आगे वाले जो questions हैं ये सब प्रोफाइल वाले questions थे. ठीक है? और मैं एज एन इंटरव्यूअर भी मेरा ऑब्जेक्टिव रहेगा ये सब खोजना तुम्हारे बारे में, because these are what make the person who you are in front of me. You are the net sum of all your experiences, and your experiences are encapsulated in these seven major points. ठीक है? So I mean, whatever your profile is, you can live with it. No issue. I mean, one way to overcome, I mean, give me the worst kind of profile, but give me 2-3 months of vigorous work, which I can spread over a year and I can qualify any interview. ठीक है? सोर्सेस कुछ भी कर लो, edX कर लो, Udemy यूज कर लो, Coursera यूज कर लो, कुछ भी कर लो. I mean, you can study physics from Nobel graduates or teaching at Stanford. So you can study what you want. There's so much available, and there's no. I mean, I don't believe in giving you कि ये 20 course कर लो, because there's so many ways of selecting those 20 courses. So what I tell people is select the subjects. 3 subject उठा लो या 2 subject उठा लो, उसको अच्छे से पढ़ो. चलो, I hope you enjoyed the session and I was able to give you a perspective which is different from what you normally get. ये 6 points में 7वां point add कर देना, WorkX. Go. ठीक है? Advanced Excel is okay, but that will not. That's more of skill growth. It's not knowledge growth. Advanced Excel will not help you so much. Yeah, WorkX पे तुम्हारे technical aspects भी पूछ सकते हो. WorkX पे कोई भी question आ सकता है. And of course, if you have WorkX, then your graduation subjects पे questions कम हो जाते हैं, drop कर जाते हैं. WorkX नहीं है, तो इस पे questions बढ़ जाते हैं. ठीक है? If you have opted for a tier 2-3 B school course, you can look at getting into a job after your B school, work for 3 to 5 years, and either you start performing in your job or your industry and become a bedrock. I mean, ultimately inside your industry, you will only be given weightage for what you perform. So if your performance is strong, you can actually build that. The other way you can think about it is do your B school, and after your B school, you do 3 to 5 years of experience, get a middle career role, and from there you move into an executive MBA from a top B school. So क्या होगा? If you are 3 to 5 lakh range before the B school, you got to 8-10 lakh range because you're in tier 2, tier 3 after the B school. 10 lakh से तुम 4-5 साल काम करोगे तो you'll get to 15-17 lakhs. और वहां से तुम फिर एक जंप लेते हो टू गो टू टॉप टियर बी स्कूल, तो 17 lakhs एंट्री अगर है एग्जीक्यूटिव एमबीए तो एग्जिट विल बी 35-40 lakhs at least. So you can plan that, Sushant. So chalo, I hope you everybody enjoyed this session, got perspective, and we'll stop here and I'll see you next Monday. I'm doing the other questions. Why MBA? Why should we select you? What are your alternate career plans? Your SOP problems, your character traits, strengths, weaknesses, etc. We'll talk about that. Chalo, bye-bye. Bye.